Hey, what's going on, guys? Taking a little bit of a break from glassing up here in the mountains during Washington's high country buck hunt. And I figured I'd take a few minutes and talk to you guys about the new Really Right Stuff PT Scout panhead. This is my first trip out with it, and so far I'm really enjoying the features that it has. The ball heads previous that I used with Really Right Stuff tripods, they just weren't the best for glassing. So Really Right Stuff answered that question with the PT Scout. So the way that I have my tripod configured here, it might seem a little bit interesting or strange. So let me explain. So what I have up top here is a set of Swarovski EL Ranges, okay? So my primary hunting glass, because I like having an integrated laser rangefinder. So on top of the PT Scout, I have this post from Outdoorsman's. And this post has an ARCA mount to it. And that just allows me to hard mount my binos to it. It's a really nice thing to have. Okay, so now we are down to the PT Scout. And the cool thing about the PT Scout is that the base of it is an ARCA rail. So you have two ways of mounting this thing. You could either use the 3/8 inch thread here to screw it direct to an apex and use the head as that, which is fine. That's I actually did that for a little while on one of these Ascend 14 center columns. So more on that in a minute. But I decided that I would run it like this, directly attached to the Anvil 30. And before I go any deeper into the PT Scout, I'll explain to you guys what this configuration is. So right now I'm taking the PT Scout and I'm clamping it into my Anvil 30 via the ARCA rail, and I'm using this as my glassing head. When it's time to shoot, the best head that we have discovered is the Anvil 30 from Really Right Stuff. It doesn't really matter what tripod the Anvil 30 goes on. That's something that we discovered in all of our testing and evaluation for this tripod masterclass that we're doing. The legs, as long as the legs are sturdy enough to hold the weight of the rifle or whatever system it is that you're putting on here, the legs are going to provide the same amount of support. Now, granted, obviously the thicker the diameter of the leg, the more weight capacity it can have, the more rigid it is. However, for this trip and for all of my hunting use, I'm using an Ascend 14. Also, you could this would be a 1.4 series with Really Right Stuff. So this guy has a center column, and the center column is a really well designed center column. It locks up pretty tight. However, if it's more than one fist's length up, you will have wobble in it to shoot from. So what I did was I decided to take an Anvil 30 and mount it direct to this. And the reason for that is the Anvil 30 is the best head to shoot from, but having the ability to raise and lower the center column of your tripod for glassing makes a huge difference. Like right here where I'm glassing, I could be looking almost straight down to almost horizontal. So having that center column in place allows me to just sit in one spot and raise and lower the column to glass the depth that I need to. Now, when the time comes to shoot, I'm going to drop this thing all the way down, clamp it into place, and then I'm going to use my Anvil 30 to lock my rifle into and take my shot from. So before this, I was running two different apexes. I would have one apex on the center columns. I would have one ball head that I would use to glass with. I would mount this guy to it, and then my binos, and glass from it. And then I would, if I had to shoot, I would swap that out for a short center column that had the Anvil 30 on it, because the other ball head's just not the greatest to shoot from. It's really loose, and it's just, there's a lot of wobble in the sight picture. So now that I have this configuration, when I need to glass, I'm just gonna go ahead and clamp this guy in there. The cool thing about having the Anvil 30 is I can level out my Anvil 30 left and right. So that gives me really good left to right and up and down, like 90 degrees square. And sometimes you know how your tripod's at an angle and you're panning up and back because there's only 2 axes that this thing moves, right? So it's up and down and left and right. So if your tripod's off kilter, you could be trying to pan up instead of, no, I want to pan direct. And having the anvil here lets you do that. So clamp this guy in. Cool. So now I just wanted to kind of run through some more of the features of the PT Scout. Now, the PT Scout has a pan feature left and right. And the cool thing about this is that this knob can get switched from, I have it on the right side, but if you wanted to, you could unscrew it, pull it out, swap it over, and put it on this side if you like having all of your controls over. All right, so we have our pan feature left and right, really, really smooth. You can dial in the tension of how much resistance there is in the ball head or in the pan, and man, it really tracks, and it's very nice and smooth. All right, that's super cool. The next feature here, I'll turn this guy sideways so you can see it. We have our vertical adjustment. Now this guy is on a basically it's just it looks like an injection molded piece of plastic. So what you do is you can loosen this guy up, and you can push this handle forward and use it in the retracted position. This is how I hike with it. Or when you get into your position and you want an extended hand, you can lock this ring into place, and now I have an extended basically vertical pan feature here. So that's pretty cool. On top here, you can get a couple of different attachments. This one uses the Arlock system. And the Arlock system is cool because it will allow you to clamp directly into a rifle, an ARCA rail, or a Picatinny rail. So there's a little bit more weight to it. And this is the way that it was shipped to me. And I'm just continuing to use it, even though Really Right Stuff, talking to Michael, he has shot from this. And although it's possible, I don't really like it because I can only move that on 2 axes, right? Up and down and left and right. And in order for me to correct for cant with my rifle, that's where that Anvil 30 comes into play. And I would just rather shoot from the Anvil 30 than this because I'm not super conscious about weight. I am conscious about weight, but I'm not gonna sacrifice a lot of performance just to save a couple of ounces. That's just not the way that I think about things when I come out here. You know, we come out, we put a ton of effort into getting to these places to give us an opportunity to have a chase. And so I want to make sure that when, you know, the definition of luck, right, is when opportunity meets the prepared. And I want to make sure that I'm prepared. Okay. So now if you were to screw this, let's just say you wanted to take this and you wanted to screw this to that, to a 3/8 inch thread. Pretty cool, all right? So here's a little feature. You can use this pan, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a slot right here. And what you can do is you can rotate this forward, and this slot locks into this groove right here that's machined into the head. And what that allows you to do, and you lock that down, that allows you to screw this thing onto a post, right? And actually use your hand as a torque and torque it into place, and it's not going anywhere, which is kind of a cool thing because it's locking into that slot. I can't really demonstrate it right here, but I think you guys get my drift. So PT Scout, I think it's a really, really well thought out piece of equipment. I'm getting a lot of benefit from using it out here on this trip. So I hope you guys got something from this. If you're interested, go cruise over to Really Right Stuff, SOAR, and check out the PT Scout. It's time to get back to glassing.